Alrighty guys, it's your boy RickyMoto. Welcome back to yet another video. So what we have here today is a CarPlay display for your motorcycle, which is pretty insane. And this is thanks to Carpuride, which is gonna be the sponsor of this video. They have sent over this unit, which is their 7-inch IPS touchscreen display, obviously featuring the CarPlay and Android Auto. It also has Bluetooth as well, where you can connect and play your music and whatnot, which is pretty cool. Take a look at the box. It is nicely packaged. We have some features on the side here. We have Bluetooth, it's IP67, so it's water resistant. You can play your music, you have voice controls, a whole bunch of cool features. So yeah, let's crack this thing open and see what we have inside of the box. And yes guys, we're gonna be attempting to install this on the Yamaha R7, which is gonna be a pretty interesting situation because it is a sport bike. Inside we have the display. As you can see, it has a nice rain shield over here, or a way to block out some sun so you can get a nice viewing angle. It is quite large, I gotta say. It kind of looks like an iPad mini, if you will. And it is connected right now to this cable, so let's try to get all this stuff out of here. So we have this connection over here, and then on the back, the mounting feature is like a ball mount, kind of similar to the RAM foam mount. So if you have one of those installed on your vehicle, you can definitely utilize this. We definitely got to figure out how all of this wiring works, which I'm sure the manual should point it out pretty easily. This looks like a handlebar mount or some sort of mounting clip. We have more cables over here, a tool piece, and this mounting arm. Here we go. So this looks like you can mount it to your handlebars and clamp it down nice and tight. And of course we have our ball mount, which you can adjust accordingly to whatever angle you want. You got some hardware for the installation, and we have this little fuse looking piece. Last but not least, we have our user manual, which should teach us all of the features and how to install this on your bike. So we're definitely going to be running through this as well to see how everything goes together. As you can see, we have the display going into this harness over here. One of them is going to go into the power fuse, and the other one's going to go into the ground wire. And that's pretty much it, literally just that. You will have to connect the physical battery on your bike under the seat. So we're gonna go ahead and connect this up and see how it is. You also have your sound control where you can sync it to your actual helmet. So if you have like a Bluetooth module on your helmet, you can actually listen to what the GPS or the music is. It also has a USB boost cable. If anything, it makes it a little bit easier if you're just using the USB booster cable. It just plugs right into a USB port and you should be good to go. I don't have a USB port on my bike, so I will probably have to go with a hard wiring kit. It also has an SD card in here. You can definitely download your movies and watch stuff, but I wouldn't recommend watching something while you're riding. But maybe if you're just pulled over, you want to watch a movie on your bike, apparently that's something you can do nowadays. But yeah, if you guys want to check this out, there will be a link in the description below. And let's go ahead and install this and see what it's really like to install on a Yamaha R7. So here we are on my Yamaha R7, and I'm going to be using this mount over here. This pretty much clamps onto a handlebar, and this is your ball mount that is fully adjustable. One end will connect to the actual bracket, the other end will go to the monitor. Now with this being a sport bike, it's a little bit more difficult to install because there's not much space. Like over here, it's full of all these equipment. So the only sort of location I can find is just this right over here on the left side handlebar, right where the clutch lever is. I know it's not the most ideal, but this doesn't spin, so I figured if I just go close enough to this grip, it should be, doable. So we're gonna go ahead and undo these bolts over here, pop this off on both sides. There's a little rubber piece over here that slots into the center to give it a little bit more extra grip. And you pretty much just wanna sandwich it together, like so. Make sure you give it a nice snug clamp, and what's nice is they do include spacers in case you need more space, but since we're using a pretty thick area, we don't need to use a spacer. We just go straight up and take our crush washer or our little O-ring type of thing, get your 10mm bolt that is included in the kit, and just tighten that down. So we're gonna do that to both sides. Slide this on, take the bolt on top of that. Now I'm not fully tightening it down just yet, so we can make some adjustments. We're gonna loosen this up and kind of find our orientation as to how we want to configure this. Now we're gonna grab our monitor over here. As you can see, nice and shiny. On the back side, there is another ball mount, and that slots right into this. There we go. And just want to tighten that down. And you have a full range of motion, so while it's still kind of loose, you can always orient it, kind of turn it however you want. The tricky part is this windscreen is very close to the monitor, so I want to make sure as I'm turning, it doesn't hit into either the windscreen or my tank. So you kind of have to play around with it like so, go back and forth, you know, make sure I have enough space, and just tighten down these 10mm bolts over here. Then we do our final little adjustment here to make sure there's enough clearance on both ends, just like that. I'm gonna make it go a little bit higher so I can create more space towards the bottom, angle it up a little bit like so, angle it in as well, give myself a better view. And we're gonna take off this screen protector on here to reveal the beautiful shiny screen. Whew. Alrighty, for the cables, there are two options. Obviously, the easiest one is to use the USB power, but unfortunately, this bike does not have a USB port. You could hook it up to an external power bank, but to make it the cleanest look possible, we are gonna be hot wiring this. So as you can see, this is kind of like a Y splitter. One end looks like this. This will connect directly to the monitor itself. So there's a cable down here. They're both the same color. Make sure you line it up with the correct pins. Boom, you snap that on, and you can twist it to tighten it down. And then on the other end, you have two connections. You have a black wire, which is your ground. This will connect to your negative terminal on the battery, along with a red cable, which is your positive. So red goes to positive, black goes to negative. And if you look carefully at the positive cable, there is this little block over here, which is actually a fuse. If this fuse does burn out for whatever reason, the kit does come with a spare one, so you can always replace it. So we're gonna go ahead and open up the seat of the bike to hook these cables up. So as you can see, the battery is right over here, right smack in the middle. This is gonna be your negative terminal. That is pretty much just silver or gray. Then the positive side is red over here, which this bracket is covering. So we will have to remove this for the time being. There we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually connect the positive side first. So I'm gonna just peel back this rubber cover over here. Now looking at the cables that are provided in the kit, they are very thin, and you basically just wanna reveal a little bit of that metal. It's already showing a little bit over here, but if you want to use a knife or something just to kind of reveal a little bit more. Now we're gonna install the positive cable first. We're gonna go ahead and back out this little screw just a little bit, just to loosen it up. And we're gonna take this exposed wire and just slot it in there, inside the battery terminal. Screw it back down, nice and tight. Then we're gonna do the same thing with the negative cable. Yet again, we're just gonna back out the screw and then find a little gap to slide in the cable. And wow, the screen has already turned on. If I can just show you guys real quick, the screen has turned on automatically, which means if you turn on the bike, it'll come on almost instantaneously. So now I'm looking in the Bluetooth settings and I see Carpuride, and that's gonna be the device. We're gonna press on that. Password, yes. We're gonna click pair and allow. And it's pretty seamless. It's very simple, connected to CarPlay. And just like that, it's ready to go. Now just a little overview. We have the screen over here. We have this cable that is pretty much looping down and into the battery of the bike. Now, of course, you can always tuck these cables and clean it up a little bit. You can definitely hide this pretty easily since there's a lot of fairing pieces. You can probably loop it right behind this. You know, you can probably loosen these up to create a little bit more clearance, loop it through here. You can either bring it out here and tuck it in between this, or you can go as far as hiding it behind this trim and it'll come out right over here. And the rest of the cables you can just kind of tie away inside the bike. You have a huge display on here now, better than, you know, that over there that doesn't really show much. Obviously, you have all your Apple CarPlay features on here, like all your apps and whatnot, your Spotify. Of course, we have your Apple Maps, your messages, and as you can see, everything opens really, really, really quick. You know, Spotify, bang. You know, your phone calls, bang. Now, just for fun, I decided to put it in my car as well to see if it works, and yes, it does. I have the cable just plugged into a USB port, not the hot wire, and as you can see, it works perfectly. And I put it in a really nice position where it kind of looks like it's part of the car. And of course, we have our Spotify, which actually connects to the car. So if I play some music on here, I'm gonna turn up the volume. See, it works. So it's pretty crazy. This thing is so underrated, and I feel like you guys are missing out if you don't already have one of these. So if you guys want to pick one up for yourself, you can use it on your motorcycle, car, or anything really, anything that just has a power connection. You have a whole entire CarPlay display and Android Auto display in your fingertips. And it has a 7-inch IPS touchscreen display, which is very high quality. Also, the system is actually super fast. The processor on here is amazing. And if you guys think this is a pretty cool product to have on your motorcycle, make sure to drop a like and a comment below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in our next one. Peace.